I had a lot of family troubles growing up. My mum was often stressed. My dad wasn't around too much. My sister was kind of turning into a bit of a degenerate. Imagine you discover self-improvement and simultaneously your family starts crumbling around you. Imagine you're trying to do good for yourself and at the same time, you're just getting pulled back down by these dark thoughts and excuses you're making for yourself because of all the family troubles you're having. My mum's really stressed. I might just have a few beers. I might smoke a bit of weed just to kind of forget about this for the moment. Or just play video games until the problem goes away. The problem with this mindset, which I found out, is you need to be taking responsibility for every single thing that happens around you. You can do this with your friends, your relationships especially. Everything that happens in a relationship is your responsibility. It may not be your fault. I say this a lot at the end of my videos. It may not be your fault that these things are happening. And it likely isn't your fault. But you have to understand the difference between fault and responsibility. Because you are affected by it, as a man, it is your responsibility to fix it and change it to how you want it to be. It may not be your fault that it happened. But if you can take responsibility for something that's not your fault, you will be respected by many. This starts small. This starts with cleaning up mess that your mum's laid around because she's too stressed. Cleaning up the kitchen. It's not your fault the kitchen's messy. But if you want your mum to be happy, a bit less stressed, it's your responsibility. Take that responsibility. Your sister's on TikTok too much. It's not your fault. She's got these addicting apps on her phone and her mum's allowed her to be on it. But as an older brother, it is your responsibility to help her. Even the fact that my dad's gone away and started taking drugs again, is that my fault? Fuck no. He's been doing that since before I was a kid. But maybe if I showed him a bit more love, maybe if I showed him I was there for him, I think there's some things I can do to take responsibility for this. This one hits very close to home because this is something that affects the rest of your life. And when you're going through a hard time, it's a lot easier to play the victim and not take responsibility for everything that's not your fault. But nothing is going to change if you think that way. If you think it's not my fault, don't worry about it. It's not my fault, don't worry about it. Oh, that wasn't me. Fuck, I don't give a fuck. Then you're going to stay in the same position. If you keep making the same decisions, you're going to stay in the same position. That was a wrap. You need to think differently. You need to make different decisions to be a different person, to be the person you want to be a respected male, to be a man, to be a father, to be a good big brother, to be a good son. It all starts there. This is uncomfortable, and it's a fine line because you can blame yourself for a lot of things. You have to keep on top of this, but that's all a part of being a man. There's a stoic exercise you can do, and I want you to do it right now with me. Grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, draw a big fat circle. Inside this circle, on this piece of paper, you're going to write everything in your life, the main things that you want to change. I want my sister to stop being a degen. I want my mum to be less stressed. I want the government to stop putting, this is just an example, I want the government to stop putting mandates on shit. Inside the circle, write everything that is in your control. Inside the circle, I've got my mum's well-being, my sister's phone use, and my dad's happiness. I think these are things that I can control. I know I have some effect on these things. Outside, some other factors that are affecting, say, my mum's well-being, inflation, government mandates, everything outside of this circle, cross it the fuck off. It doesn't matter. There's no point in thinking about it. All you need to do is focus on the things inside this circle. Figure out a plan for what you can do. I can help my mum around the house, but maybe I can't get her a promotion at work. I can teach my sister about the negative effects of a phone, but maybe I can't stop and delete all the addicting apps on there. I can make my father feel loved and cared about, but maybe I can't stop drugs from being so addictive. If you work hard on all of these things you can control, you'll get a level of self-confidence that you will respect yourself. And I think that's the most important thing. Self-respect. You know you're doing all you can, because when you're not doing these things, you know when you're playing the victim, and that plays at the back of your mind. These small losses play at the back of your mind. Oh, well, the kitchen's dirty. It's not my fault. My mum should have cleaned it. But I mean, I can. It'll probably make her really happy. You got to start by being a good family member. Start by being good to yourself, because it all stems from there. If you want success in any avenue of life, it all stems from yourself, your family, and then you can take over the world. It may not be your fault that these things are happening, but it's your responsibility to change it. If you want something to change, it's your responsibility to change it. If you want to learn and maybe just discuss more about these topics with other men who are thinking the same things, who are feeling the same emotions, who are on the same journey, check out the first link in the description. It's my private community, I think. There's a lot more to it than that, but just have a look. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Thanks for sticking around. Like and subscribe. Cheers.